Ben from Snowies here, folks, down at the Brownhill Creek Tourist Park. Beautiful sunny day, and I've got the Oztent SV-5 Max set up behind me here. I'm taking you for a walkthrough. Now the SV-5 has a slightly different pole structure than traditional RV tents that we've known, offers more internal space, loads of external undercover space, and everything that you see set up here comes included in the kit. Now, it's not the smallest tent by any means. It measures about a little over 2 meters or 210 centimeters, which most RV tents measure about that anyway. About 30 to 40 centimeters in diameter, and it weighs about 32 kilos. That's with everything included inside. So you are going to need a trailer or a roof rack to be able to carry the SV-5 Max tent, but you get so much livability and it's really easy to set up when you do carry that weight. I'll get into the tent. We'll start with a bit of a walk around the back before we jump into all the interesting bits in the front here. Now just at the side here, we'll start with looking here, a window with an internally adjustable privacy screen inside there. We'll show you how that's adjusted shortly. Moving around, we can see this is one side of the fly. Now this is included with the tent. You can remove the fly if you like. It just zips across the top of the tent there and comes straight off, or leave it on so it can all be packed up together. Moving further around, you can see a bit of a gap in the fly here, and we can just tuck up underneath here and have a look at this rear window here. Now this is a big, long window. We'll see it a bit better when we're inside the tent. This is zipped or rolled open at the moment. There's a tab up here, or 3 tabs across here. We can actually roll this down if we like and do this zipper up. There's a nice big overlap here between the zipper and the mesh, so it's nice and weatherproof. And then we guy ropes on the corners here, so we can actually peg this out as a bit of a weather protected awning over the top of here. So if we weren't using the fly sheet, we can have protection over this window while still allowing ventilation, so it's not going to get wet, but you're going to get airflow when this fly is not attached. Coming around to the back of the tent, you can see the fly sheet covering this rear window. There's 4 peg points across the back here. They just pull this fabric up and away so it doesn't sag too much while you're inside the tent, so you've got a bit more living space. And then this side of the tent here, exact mirror image of the other side, fly over the top of a window up underneath here, which has got another internally adjustable privacy screen on it. Let's have a look at the awning on the SV-5 Max here. Now there's 2 parts to this. Starting at about 3 meters at the front of the tent here, this extends out to about 3.5 meters to this point here, which is where the actual awning that's attached to the tent finishes. From this point, which is about 2.5 meters out from the tent, we can attach the included tarp extension, which extends the awning another 2.5 meters out to here. And this measures 5 meters from pole to pole across the front here. So you've got a total of 5 meters from this point here back to the tent, tapering out to 5 meters at the front of the awning here. So you've got all this living space included with the SV-5 Max, but you don't have to set this bit up. You can just set that bit up if you like. These poles are 2.3 meters at the front, so you can get plenty of height. 1.9 meter poles across here, these ridge poles are included, and then 2.3 meter height at this peak here. So plenty of headspace, lots of livability. You could set up a camp kitchen, you could have a party for a family of 8 under here if you liked. Heaps and heaps of room. Looking at some of the other features underneath the awning here, we'll start on this side here. There are zippers that run right around the sides here. The front section here, where the actual awning for the tent finishes, has got 2 zippers. One for an extension, say a front wall down here, the other one for the tarp extension out the front. As we move across the back here, there are tabs that feature all the way around the sides here, and they're for attaching LED lights or for cables, just to maintain a lighting system. They run right across the front of the tent here, back around the other side of the awning and across to the front, but they don't extend out to the tarp extension out here. Now, before we go any further, I just want to touch on the fabrics that is used in the tent. Now, the accessories, which is the tarp extension here and the fly sheet at the rear, is a 210T Ripstop polyester, so a lighter weight material, still strong, but a lighter weight material for the accessories. The tent is made of the same 8-ounce Ripstop cotton polyester that RV tents have been made of for years. It offers a really good balance of weight and durability. Within the tent itself, there are ultrafine mesh panels. This is a vent at the top here that's made with an ultrafine mesh. Whether it's midgie proof, always a bit questionable, but I'd say it's going to give you pretty good protection. Also doors here, same ultrafine ultrafine mesh. That also features in the windows on each side and the window at the rear. Coming down to the base of the tent, we've got a 510 GSM PVC. Now this is a different color than what they previously used in their RV tents, but it's the same sort of PVC, so a really tough floor. Would benefit from a ground sheet underneath here. At this stage of shooting the video, Oztent don't have a mat or a ground sheet for this tent, but I think there is one coming out, so watch out for that. Otherwise, you could use any ground sheet underneath here. And the frame, all of the frame inside here that you can see, as well as the frame awning poles and things that are featured out underneath the awning here, are all in aluminium, strong, lightweight aluminium. We'll step inside in a sec, but I want to show you the features of the front here first. Now these doors are double doors. You got mesh and solid panels. There's a zip that runs straight down the middle here, and then two zips that run across the middle here as well, and they meet in the middle. So all your zips terminate here. So it's an inverted T door on the front here that can be secured back. You can zip them up independently. You can just have the mesh door open or the solid panel, or seal them right back like this if you like. And as I mentioned before, there are these vents up here. Now that is mesh there, but there is this internally adjustable panel. There's a zipper there that you can do it up to keep it closed. If you undo these panels, there's a little tab that features, a bit hard to see, but it's up underneath here. There is a tab there, so you can roll this closed and keep it open like that, which is probably a good way to have these vents most of the time, because it's going to allow ventilation up and out the top of the tent, particularly if you're not using the fly, because it's a single skin tent. In single skin tents, if you're out in a cold night, condensation is going to build up between where the cold air and the warm air meets, which if you're not using the fly is the inside of the tent here, and you're going to get water dripping in. So having these open is a really good way to vent that air out and keep a dry space inside the tent. We'll step inside and have a look in here now. So we'll start with the windows on the sides of the tent here. Now this is that internally adjustable panel, that privacy screen that I was talking about. We can unzip this from the inside, roll it closed. There's a tab at the bottom to secure it if we like. Or what I like to do with my RV5 is just have it done up most of the way, and it just does a little bit of ventilation there while allowing privacy down low. Now this is all seam sealed inside here, and it's really waterproof fabric, so even though this panel is on the outside there, seam sealed at the bottom, you're not going to get water in through this window here. The tent itself is completely waterproof. Moving around the side of the tent here, we can see the frame that I talked about before, all aluminium. Around the back here, we've got that long window that I mentioned. At the rear, mesh right across the back here, so tons of ventilation. With that open at the moment, I'm still getting shade from the fly on the outside there. If I didn't have the fly, I can use that panel that's rolled up there to give me a bit of shade over the top. Just above that, two storage pockets. This one's a bit of a media pocket, so it's got PVC, clear PVC on the front there, so you could put a tab or something in there if you like, just to put it up there and lie down, watch a show, or whatever you like to do, or just use it for storage. Then on the other side here is just a polyester pocket, too, separated down the middle by a bit of stitching. So you've got two separate pockets there. And these can be removed if you like. You don't have to keep them. It's just a Velcro tab there. You can take them off and you can use them somewhere else in the tent, put them around on one of the awning poles if you like. Moving a little further around, we'll just have a look at the rear here, because you can see the frame doesn't extend right to the rear of the tent. This section here kind of folds back in here when the tent packs away. So if you're using a really thin mat, you're probably going to notice this pole here, but being such a heavy duty tent, usually people have got thicker mats, airbeds, or stretchers, so this doesn't become an issue. But in saying that, it's only about 1 centimetre or so thick, so it sits nice and flat to the ground anyway. Moving further around here, we've got the other window on the other side here with another internally adjustable privacy screen, and that can be easily opened and closed from the inside while you're in the tent. So leave it open if it rains, zip it closed. So we've now got ventilation across the tent, ventilation at the back, doors at the front, and the really cool feature in here, if we jump up to the roof, is the SkyMesh panel. Now this is all closed here at the moment. We can see this mesh panel here. If I undo this, I just got to find the zippers. If I undo this from the inside here, I then see another canvas panel. So this is the top of the inner tent. If I reach down to the sides here and find the zippers, it's sealed along the back here with Velcro. I unzip the sides here, undo the Velcro that runs right across the back here, and undo the zipper on the other side. I can open the roof of the tent right up. I can now roll this up to the top here. There are tabs at the top here for me to secure this. I'll just do that quickly, because once I've done that, I can actually secure or do the mesh up. And if I didn't have the fly sheet on, because I'm looking at the fly sheet here now, if I didn't have the fly sheet on a nice night, I can do this up I've got a mesh panel there, no fly sheet. I'll be looking at the stars all night, so you can lie down and do a bit of stargazing. So if you know it's going to be a nice dry night, leave the fly off, undo your skylight, and you can check out the stars while you doze off to sleep. Before I forget, there is one other feature in here, and that are these little tabs that run up the corner here. These are just for power access or power cord management. That runs down and marries up with a little zipper here in the corner that we can use for power access. So we can get a 12 or 240 volt cord in here and have power inside of our tent. Now, talking about space inside the tent here, firstly height. At the front of the tent there, it's about 1.8 meters to where the pole finishes, a little bit less than that where the zipper is, and that tapers to about 1.3 meters where this rear pole is here. So hasn't got a lot of standing space for tall people, but still functional space. But what you really do get in this tent is extra floor space. Now the sides of the SV-5 angle out this way, which traditional RV tents were straight. And on top of that, it actually tapers from the back of the tent to the front out this way. So you get tons more floor space in the SV-5 Max. It's about 2.8 meters across the front once you take into account a little bit of frame inside the tent. And that tapers back to about 2.4 meters where this frame is here. And then a little further, about 2.1 meters at the very rear of the tent here, across there, 2.1 meters. And depth-wise, from this point here to where the door is at the front, about 2.6 meters in depth. So where an RV5, they used to say was a 5-person tent, probably a little bit tight for 5. This is moving more towards being a reasonable amount of space for 5 people or 4 people plus a good amount of space. What I do have though, to try and show you just how you might be able to use the space or give a good representation, is some air beds and a stretcher, which I'm going to put in here and see how they all fit. Now this is a pretty big stretcher. It's about 50 centimeters in height, a bit over a meter in width, and about 215 centimeters in length. And it fits neatly against that edge. It's just up against the back edge here. What you do get in the SV-5 over the top of the traditional RV-5 is this storage space down the side here. So you've got a bit more space for bags and things. You don't have to put it all underneath the stretcher. And this fits pretty much halfway across the tent here. So this is the halfway point. So you could fit 2 of these in here with storage space down each side. You could probably sort of almost angle them just a little bit like that. So you've got a little bit of a triangle here to be able to step inside the tent and then onto a stretcher as well. So you don't get a lot of extra space if you really want to put stretchers inside the SV-5 over the top of RV-5, apart from getting a bit more storage space. But given that most of the space is at ground level, because the walls do slope out like this, it's probably going to find that there's much more usable if you've got air beds, which I've got a few of, and I'll put them in here. I'll put them in there now. So this is a double height queen air bed here. So about 55 centimeters in height, about 150 centimeters in width, and about 2 meters in length, and that fits pretty comfortably. You can tuck it right back there. You've got space around the side and space each side. If you kind of put this in the middle of the tent here, you've actually got room each side for 2 people, so it makes it for a really comfortable 2-person sleeping arrangement in here. You wouldn't fit 2 of these in here though. Now the RV-5s traditionally have just been a little bit tight for 2 sort of double mats to fit in, because a double mat's about 130, 140 centimeters, so you need 260 to 280 centimeters in width, which is fine at the front, but it's going to get a little bit tight here. You could probably squeeze them in, but you're more likely to fit 2 double mats in an SV-5 than an RV-5, but you certainly wouldn't fit 2 double high air beds in here. I've got 2 singles though that I'll put in here and show you how they fit. Now these are 2 king single air beds, so they're a single high one. They measure about 180, 185 centimeters in length and about a meter in width. So you can see you've got plenty of space in the middle here. You can see it tapers a bit. If I push these right to the back, give you an idea of sort of space you've got at each end. All that storage there, all this storage up the middle. If you put these here, then you're probably better off using this space up here for storage, because then your head's a nice way away from the top here. Probably important thing to note that while this does taper out to the front there, the actual space here across the back is about the same as a traditional RV-5. So while you get that extra room there, you don't get a lot of extra length here. So you still can't fit 2 big double air beds or anything inside, but you do get that extra living space, extra storage space that you don't have in an RV-5. The real benefit of the Oztent SV-5 Max is all the extra inclusions you get, not just the fly, but this tarp extension out here and the tapered shape that creates all of this living space out the front of the tent here. Even today with the sun overhead, I've got enough space so I could set up a table in here and sit down each side and no one would be in the sun. So you certainly get a lot of versatility with the SV-5 Max tent. Probably a really good balance for those who are looking for, say, a touring tent that's got a quick setup feature that they also want to use for family camping. That is all the features of the Oztent SV-5 Max, the latest generation of RV tents from Oztent. You can check these out online at snowies.com.au at our lowest prices every day. But if you've got any questions, let us know down in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel, get all of our latest and greatest information, or check out some other Oztent videos like this one down here.